Amazing. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Community Talk number 28. My name is Colson. I will be hosting you guys here today. Today, we're going to have a lot of segments from amazing people around the ecosystem, specifically focused on hackers that participate in hackathons and build really cool projects on the graph. But before we get started, I would like to give you some community updates. So there will be a lot of side events for DevConnect, and the Graph will be attending three or more, but these three I can give you right now. So the Graph Foundation is hosting Datapalooza, which will explore infrastructure and data needs across Ethereum. The event will cover research and development and tooling in the Graph ecosystem and across the Web3 space, focusing on use case for dApps, analytics, tooling, LLMs, and more. And you can join us and the rest of the community. And there will be a link shared with you in the chat right now where you can join that amazing day. There will also be a hack house called ETH Campus. That link will also be shared with you today. And the Graph is sponsoring the ETH Global Hackathon. And we will share the prize page with you as well. So if you're going to be hacking at ETH Global, make sure you use the Graph and build some cool stuff. So there will also be a couple of events in Latin America that the Graph will be participating in across next month. One of them will be ETH Bolivia, and some of the Graph advocates will be there. They're from ETH Argentina, ETH Bolivia, ETH Mexico, and those are also the other two events. So either we will ETH Mexico, there will be a side event for the Spanish community, and there will also be an event in Peru where some of the Graph advocates will join and have a couple of workshops. So we will be sharing those links with you right now. Then there was a very big update from Tegan, which you can check out using the following link in the show notes. And the Graph Council is establishing the Technical Advisory Board, which is a really cool new thing. So the formation of the board is an important step in accelerating research and development efforts and enhancing the technical reviews and upgrades for the protocol. And you can apply or nominate somebody today. So be a part of that and nominate yourself or an expert for the Technical Advisory Board. We will be sharing the forum link with you right now in the chat, so you can join that one and apply. Then there's also the new upgrade indexer, which will be a fallback mechanism to ensure every single subgraph that upgrades to the network can be served by the network. And that's a lot of benefits for dApp developers, like free upgrades to the Graph network, bootstrapping on new change, and pre-synced subgraphs. So that's also a really, really nice new thing. Then there will be birthday events in December, and there are three cities that are confirmed right now, and those will be shared with you in the next community talk. So if you would like to hang out with the community on the Graph's third birthday, make sure you stay up to date on that update next month. There are also a lot of new episodes from the GRTIQ podcast, number 134 with Ben Jones, number 135 with Pedro Diogo, 136 with Cherry Blau, 137 with Saibaj Singh, and 138 with Isaac Prada. So if you want to check them out, go to the grtiq.com website/podcast, and you will be able to find them there. There were also new monthly core dev updates from Semiotic Labs, Geo, Streaming Fast, Mizari, Edge and Node, Pinax, GraphOps, and The Guild posted on the forum, and we'll be sharing those forum links with you now as well. So for our first segment, I was hoping that Data Nexus could join us, but I don't think he is here right now. So what we are going to do for our first segment is we are going to invite two teams that participated in the ETHNewYork Hackathon, Teach AI and Leverage Labs. And I would like to introduce the Teach AI team first. I hope Denver is here and he can introduce the project and give us a little demo. So Denver, can you hear us?
Yeah, absolutely. And Kirill is also here. He was part of the team that helped build Teach AI at ETH Global.
Nice. Could you tell us a little bit about that experience and then maybe about the project as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was ETH Global NYC, I guess here last month. Had a great time, both going and attending and hacking at the event. The Graph team was super helpful throughout the whole time, helping us, spin up our subgraphs, introduce new features to it, such as indexing IPFS. And yeah, as a whole, it was just a great experience getting to see the Ethereum community come together, build some really cool stuff, and get a chance to hack on a diverse array of technologies.
Amazing. What can you share us about your specific project at TGI?
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I have a quick slideshow that kind of just breaks it down. Happy to share that now. Cool. Can everyone see this?
I can, yeah, yeah.
Great. So TJI was, as I said before, our hackathon project at ETHGlobal NYC 23. As a whole, the purpose of our application is to help curate high quality data sets by providing a framework for reinforcement learning from human feedback. Simply put, when you get a response from a large language model, such as ChatGPT, it enables people to provide feedback. Was that a good response or was it not? Within the large language model systems itself, they found that this is really one of the best mechanisms to improve those models' performance. Providing users two responses and having them rank them gives the model feedback on how it did and provides, like I said, a really good way to train and tune these models to better fit users' needs uh, as they develop and grow over time. So as a whole, the system itself was pretty simple. The user would first go in, provide instruction to the language model. That's a query about, explain to me how the moon rotates around the world or something like that. The user would then get two pieces of feedback from the model, two different responses. They would then rate the two, say which one was better. That's the whole human feedback loop. And so it consisted of a very simple system where the LLM, which is the large language model, was hosted on Cortese. And so the model in itself was hosted on a rollup, so it's fully verifiable, where the inputs are submitted on chain, which are then passed to the Cortese virtual machine. The virtual machine running the large language model processes that input and provides two responses. All of the data was collected by a subgraph, and so all of this was run through a smart contract, which can be hosted and deployed on any chain. The subgraph would index that initial prompt that the user would provide. Then it would index the responses from that large language model. And finally, it would index the response from the user of which of the two were better. And so in that whole loop, we were using the subgraph to really collect all of this valuable training data in a democratized open source fashion. And as an added benefit, we also had the ability for users of the protocol to signal that they had uploaded a data set to IPFS. And if you think about this kind of in a larger context, um, with all of this data being tracked on chain and indexed by the graph, you have the ability to add, and with the ability to add state checks of the model through Cartesi, you really have a fully transparent lineage of LLM evolution. And so you can say, here were all the prompts that we received. Here's the feedback that we got from users, all of that fully open source. Then you can say, here is all of the data that we use to tune that model, pin it in IPFS, have the subgraph index it, and then you can say, all right, we're going to tune our large language model on this subset of data. And that will provide, as I said, the lineage of that LLM evolution. And we think that's really important for a couple of reasons. But the first is that with that lineage, you can really see where does a model start to deviate. Where do we get poor performance on the model, or where do we get performance that is, harmful to actors? And past that, because of the fully transparent nature of this feedback that you're getting, you can start to really segment and see, who are the users that are providing feedback that causes model to go awry. What are the users that provided feedback to, really bring this model to the best version that it could be. And all of this tracking being through a subgraph made it super easy. And so from the graph perspective, this really enabled us in the short time that is the hackathon to enable a seamless front-end experience for displaying on-chain data and enabled a way to verifiably index all of that data, democratizing access to it, and also using it to improve the models. And as I said before, tracking the evolution of these LLM models. So being able to see the data that went into training it, being able to track the responses that users were giving it, all in an open fashion, we think is really how these models are going to continue to improve going forward and continue to have increased transparency thanks to tooling like the graph. And so as a whole, it was a great experience getting to build on the graph at this hackathon. As always, it made it really easy for us to do what in the past in Web 2 was a complex process of setting up a backend in a seamless fashion, and really enable us to benefit from the scale of networks and have the system be deployable to any chain in the future going forward. So this project was something that I really enjoyed. Kirill is working on it on a more broad fashion in his own projects going forward. And definitely stay tuned to his updates. I know he's currently participating in the online hackathon, and I'm sure you'll see him at Istanbul as well. Happy to take any questions, but yeah, as a whole, that was Teach AI and our experience building on the graph at ETH Global NYC.
That's amazing. And hearing all of this, I'm thinking there might be some questions coming in the chat. But while we're waiting for that, I would want to ask you, you guys won a prize at Eat Global. Would you have advice for others that might be joining the hackathon in Istanbul or others this year on how to perform well at the hackathon?
Yeah, I guess I'll speak directly from just the subgraph perspective. For me, and I think for the EdgeNode team, just writing quality code, having clear documentation. So within the schema, just outline what is the schema, what are the different fields within it, was something that, talk with the team and they're like, just add comments and that alone will boost your subgraph. So making it usable for other people. I'd say when I'm writing a subgraph, I always attempt to make it as modular as possible, just because that makes it easier to iterate going forward. And then also exploring the new features that subgraphs had to offer. This was my first time interacting with IPFS through a subgraph, and I thought this hackathon was a perfect use case for that. And so just exploring the feature set that is available. Subgraphs are great in that they are extensible outside of just indexing events on chain. Now they have all these different data sources that you can pull in. So I guess get creative with them, write quality code, and make sure to document so that whoever is coming behind to review your subgraph clearly sees, what it's for and why it's there.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that answer. That was very clear. Nice job. Good. Cool. Well, thank you for the team for teacher to showing us that demo and for the good advice. We have another team here that won the prize for the best use of an existing subgraph. The team from Leverage Labs. Are you guys here as well? I don't see the username, so they may have switched. Oh, I think I see Ali unmuting, but I cannot hear him yet. Ali, you might have to use push to talk. All right. I think there might be a mic issue here, so maybe we could switch it around a little bit. Ali, if you could let us know in the chat if you are from the Leverage Labs team, that would be great. Then we can figure it out while we have another segment, and then we can just do your segment straight after. So we also have teams here from ETHRome, and I would like to pass the mic to Andrea to introduce them.
Hello, this is Andrea. Let me quickly share my screen. I'm also from the Graph Advocates DAO. Just a second, because I have some cool pictures from ETHRome. So first of all, I would like to start by giving a big shout out to Urbe for organizing such an amazing event. I think everyone had a good experience and every detail was very well put together. And they really made sure that everything ran smoothly and provided, of course, the best Italian food as they promised. It was amazing. It was a mix of innovation, but also the touch of Italian culture was on everything from the logo to uh, even giving the prizes. You see that they were dressed as uh, um, emperors. It was a great experience. And also, I'm very happy that the Graph was there to support ETHRome since some of the organizers are actually also hackers that won in the past the Graph bounties. And it looks like we formed a bond that will continue in the future. So yeah, ETHRome had more than 130 hackers and more than 40 projects. Um, And it actually was the first in-person hackathon that we sponsored through the Graph Advocates DAO events team on behalf of the Graph, and we had bounties worth more than $2,000. So yeah, how our experience was. First of all, our team from the Graph. You can see it in those pictures. We had some amazing people there from all around the world. Kevin, Marcus, Margarita, Paolo, and all. Colson was there too to support us and vibe as usual. And he might be in the picture in the right too, but um, yeah. Okay, so um, 25% of the project in the hackathon used the graph. We also had a really pretty PO-up. You can see it on the left, and I think around 50 people collected it. And now let's move to the interesting part. It's always very inspiring to see hackers create and build stuff. This is Marcus hosting a workshop to prepare the hackers and teach them how to implement the graph in their projects. And this is the list of the winners. And as Colson mentioned, we have some of them today with us. And I think this is enough from me. And let's move to them and see what they've been building at ETHRome. We will start with Sharknado. Let me just close my presentation and let's see what they did and how their experience was at ETHRome. Please, guys.
Sorry, you said Sharknado?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
You
okay.
guys won the first prize, so
Yes, yes. Hi to all. I'm Serge from the Sharknado team, and we were building with Graph in Rome. Yeah, my screen. Good. So, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Great. So, what we're doing. First, I will say why we were called Sharknado. A girl from us brought a costume with a shark. She was sleeping and we were doing some kind of gag about it, and we call us Sharknado. What we were doing a survey platform on the blockchain where you can participate in questions, and only holders or a certain NFT can participate in it. So, for example, we created a shark token that we distribute, and only this holders of this shark token could participate in these questions. But you could also extend it on some collections of NFTs, or like any NFT that you want. The tech behind it was that it is all done privately, so the participation, you could participate in it, but nobody would actually see your address, so it will be all private. And the payouts would be also pseudo-private, so you could provide an address, a different address, not from the one you're participating, and the payout for the questionnaire would be paid there. I forgot to say, like, there is a reward for the questions after you participate. And we did it in a way that it is a lottery. So after a certain amount of participations, there is one winner that gets all the reward. And it is done randomly. And for that, we were using a subgraph that would show us a winner. So after participation, there is this winner page, and this information is collected by the subgraph. So we created a subgraph of everything we were deploying on the chain, but the only one that was reasonably used was this one, where we were creating events on the blockchain of somebody who was winning this lottery and was paid out. So we used this studio for that, and it is very easy to build with this tool. Here is a step-by-step explanation what to do, and everything was perfectly. And then you can fetch the data from the subgraph, just a simple HTTP query, HTTP request, but with a GraphQL query inside. And here you're getting this information from the subgraph. Yes, that's our project. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation and also congrats again for winning the first prize. We also have here Spanish or Spanish and Daniel from the team Zola, who was the second, who won the second prize. If you guys would like to share your project with us too, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, let's get started. So, Daniel, you might give us an intro what Zola is while I set up the screen and everything.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so during the ETHRome Hackathon, we've decided to create escrow on chain that has privacy features using Railgun. What's special about it compared to other projects like this is that it uses zk's. So your identity when you're buying something, whether it's digital or a physical product, you don't have to like compromise your wallet address, and nobody knows what exactly you're buying and from whom.
Yeah, so what we built is this little front end just to show around the possible implementation, because at its core, we just built an SDK where everyone is just able to implement it. And the SDK is kept modular by providing a subgraph that you can just fork and implement for your own deployed escrow smart contract. And we have, for the privacy feature, an own ENS subdomain function, smart contract to to be able to anonymously secure your subdomains on ENS by not be leaking who is owning the subdomain actually using Raygun. Yeah, Danny, did we miss something? Should we show something?
Do we want to talk more about the graph and showcase how we have designed it?
Yeah, so the subgraph is kept really small, as this was just like a last 4 hours edition for our escrow contract, as you can see here. We can provide the information to complete the escrow, confirm the escrow. Here we have the fields to create, to initialize or create an escrow, and here we have our subgraph. It's like limited to the escrow. So
Yeah. So,
this is
and what's interesting about it, I think, is that even though we're using all the privacy features and we're hiding identity of the users, we can still, thanks to the graph, offer all the transparency of the blockchain by providing basic information about the protocol and the smart contract. So it's still possible to see open escrows and all the data about it get transparency, but identity of particular users is hidden to random people.
all right. I think we covered everything. Thank you so much for listening. Do you have any questions?
I think it will also be interesting to ask you guys and also the team, the other team, Shark, not NATO. Uh, what would you guys give as an advice to, let's say, for example, new hackers who would like to join a hackathon or who would like to use the graph in their project, from your experience?
I mean, we could talk about the features that they are already done great, like the subgraph got built in the last 4 hours of the hackathon, all last minute, on how the subgraph works on its own. It makes it so easy and so fast to just get your own subgraph running for your own contracts. Yeah, I mean, if you have never worked the subgraph, maybe take not 4 hours for the submission deadline. Maybe take the day before to get started. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad done. Then I love the graph, I guess.
Yeah, so I think like the important take from this is to like start working on everything early and build the MVP within like the first day, and to not leave important features, for like hours before the deadline.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your experience. And also, I think it's worth mentioning that Dercio just became a graph advocate, so it's a good moment to welcome him in the graph advocates family, and also tell everyone that if you're interested into contributing to the graph community more, that is a good way to start getting involved. So yeah, if you guys are interested, any of the other hackers or other participants that we have here today, it will be a good opportunity for you to start your journey.
Cool, amazing, guys. Thank you so much for those explanations and those demos. I think the microphone issue that we had a little bit earlier is fixed now. So I would like to introduce everyone to Ali from Leverage Labs. I would like to ask Ali what his experience was like at ETHNewYork, and then I would also ask him for a demo.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep, it works fine now. Nice.
Awesome. So yeah, let me just share my screen real quick so we have something to look at while we talk. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, it's loading. Yep, I can see it now.
Awesome. So, sorry. So yeah, Leverage Labs. This is what we built for the hackathon at ETH Global New York. So yeah, what we built is an alerts and insights tool for NFT-backed loans. How we did this is it's really all built on top of the graph, and we're taking complicated events and organizing them into entities that make sense to ultimately produce the insights we have and the alerts we send to users. So we did this for the largest NFT marketplace, Blur, and let me just give you a quick intro on how the NFT-backed loans work here. So I'll do that by comparing to Aave. So on Aave, you can use ERC20 tokens as collateral. You borrow from a pool as opposed to an individual. So liquidation happens when your loan to value reaches some preset percentage, and it's only a partial liquidation. On the other hand, if you borrow from Blur using NFT as a collateral, you borrow ETH directly from a lender, not a pool. And the liquidations are triggered anytime. The lender can trigger the liquidation anytime to take back the money they've invested. And this opens up a 30-hour window for the borrower to respond by either finding a new lender or repaying the whole loan. And if they don't do that, they'll lose the entire NFT. So the risks are very high. If you don't monitor this properly, you'll lose your entire NFT if you've borrowed money from it. So that was our motivation. We created a tool that can give users full awareness, let them know if a liquidation process has been kicked off, because we found out that people were complaining that there's no notification system. So how we solved this problem was using the graph to send the alerts on time. But the problem was that we want to look at these events. We want to use these events, on-chain events, but they're very unintuitive because there was one major event that was reused in many different kinds of situations, like when a new lien or loan is created, or when there's like a new lender that steps in to replace your old loan with a new loan with new terms. But then this event is also used when a borrower repays, some of their funds. Like if they borrowed 10 ETH and they repay 2, it reuses the same event. So it's very hard to use these events directly. And we also need to take into event other events and tie them together to update the state of these loans and liens. So the graph made this all super, super simple. We come up with a schema that makes sense, that represents how the loans and liens look like in real life. And we've created a schema like this where the lien contains information on the collateral, and it has a one-to-many relationship with loans. Someone might withdraw their investment. It starts off an auction, a liquidation process, and then maybe that loan will get replaced by someone that steps in and says, "Hey, I'll replace that loan with a slightly higher interest rate." So these loan terms get updated all the time, and using the graph, we were able to capture that relationship in a very clean manner. And we use this both for querying to check the latest status, to be able to send notifications if a liquidation process was kicked off, and also to generate the insights we provide in the web app. So these were just some basic charts that we had, so borrowers can get a clear idea of what's happening. How often are people getting liquidated? Basic stats. And the two things I really appreciated the most while using the graph was it solved two major issues. One was the ETL process, putting together various independent events. And in our example, we had one event that was reused many times. We had to apply very custom logic to filter that data into the schema we wanted. So that was great. Prior to this hackathon, I thought the graph was more for just querying events in a quick way. But just being able to deal with this whole ETL process in one go, together with the whole indexing, was awesome. And of course, the infrastructure, having an endpoint where you can just send a GraphQL query to get the results, it's simpler than setting up a Web 2 app where you usually have to configure a database and probably an API to handle the requests for the database as well. So it's great, from the front end point of view. You don't need to query the blockchain directly for just some information you want to show on your front end. You get all that from the graph, and you just you only need to sign transactions for whenever there's that kind of interaction where the user needs to sign with their wallet. So that's that.
Thank you so much. We have a lot of people here now as well. So I would like to ask you the same question that we answered the others. Your team was very successful at the hackathon. So I want to ask you, do you have any advice for other hackers that might be attending hackathons in the future?
I think most importantly, if you're using sponsored technology, in our case, we use the graph, right? So working directly with people at the graph's booth was the most helpful. They provide, even though the docs are great, they provide a lot of suggestions, help. As you discuss your problem with them, they give you a lot of great tips. So I think that was the most helpful thing.
Great.
To utilize this properly.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the presentation. That was amazing. So thank you so much. Great. I would like to once again thank all of the speakers that we had today, all of the cool projects that were built on the graph that were showcased today. For our final segment today, I would like to invite Charchit, and he will give us some really, really cool updates about the Graph India community.
Hello everyone. It's really nice to see you all here together. And let me just share my screen. Mm, am I live?
It's loading for me, but I think so. Yep, it's amazing.
Nice,
Cool.
nice. Thank you. So, yes. So we at Graph India, we are building a community for the whole graph network within India. So our motto is lead with empathy, and let's start with the updates. So we started it around in July 2023. We just completed with a charter, community charter, what we are going to do, and on the same month itself, we launched an initiative called Graphathon. This helped us to set up a base so that we can connect to good hackers within this market. The next thing we do is we launched the new program name is Navigating Web3 with the Graph India. So this was 100% advocates led initiative, like 3 online sessions around the graph and Web3. This really help our team to foster the environment of collaboration within the advocates, within the all graph advocates within India. So in September 2023, we established a new branding, and followed by now we are starting with chains of offline workshops. We had a grant named Graph Guru. In that, we are going to conduct 11 workshops for pan India. And in the future, coming to December 2023, so we have lot of plans for ETH India. So let's see what we have in Graph India. So these are some visuals. So here you can see with Graphathon, we established a lot of collaboration within local communities of India. Even Polygon DevX was also a collaborator for the Graphathon. Then you can see for the navigating Web3 with the Graph India. So we had Polygon and Quills Academy. So these tools are like different entity. But if you look at social threes, they are already our graph grantee, and it's really good if we are I, I'm very it's very nice actually to work with the grantee. They help us in the co-marketing efforts, and now we are closely working together. So the next thing is we improved our branding. So the main motto of improving our branding is to give a taste of our Indian states taste, so that people can feel this is resembling their culture or their heritage. And at the same time, here you can see, so we also evolved the logo such that whenever we are going to sponsor any event from our side, or representing the graph within India, so there is slightly less confusion within the people, because our earlier logo was totally different, and sometimes it I felt that it becomes difficult for people to understand what is Graph India, and graph what is Graph Foundation. So just try to bridge the gap between those two. And the next thing we are just rolling out is these 11 workshops pan India, which uh, just today we completed with our workshop in Chandigarh, and and day after tomorrow, which is on 19th October, we are planning to have a workshop with Daplooker. So the basic motto of this workshop is to educate people around the graph network and the Web3. So we divide a workshop in 3 agendas. In the first segment, we what our focus is to tell people about our network, our products such as hosted service Graph Explorer, and tell them what are different code dev teams working here, Advocates DAO, Builders DAO, Graftronaut, complete history of Graph protocol, what the problem it is solving. The next segment is about building subgraph, and helping them to ideate more about the subgraph. And the last segment about this workshop is how you can contribute as an advocate. Being an advocate, you can not just foster the environment of Web3 in your area, you can also take sponsorship to like sponsor any event or help other communities out. So this is like these were the objectives before establishing these workshops. And like also we at Graph India trying to set up a narrative, like if you join our workshops, you you can call yourself a graph guru. So like just experimenting with setting up narratives out there. So like most in the coming future, like we have lot of plans for the ETH India. Like basic things would be like to help the Graph Foundation or the Advocates DAO to set up basic logistics, like in terms of cheat sheets, stickers, banners, like simple logistics, so that they don't have to like run after small things. And at the same time, because of these workshops and these initiatives, we have a lot of data about our developers out there in India, and this complete data will help us in ETH India to maintain a good follow up for our developers, and just so that we can send our message to them easily via email, or like now we are more skin in the game, and with because of this, not only we can like do post event follow-ups, we can also like share the message of Graph Foundation Advocates DAO directly to the advocates as well as a larger community in India. So like today around 1 month ago, the graph protocol shifted from Ethereum to Arbitrum, and like these connections and these networks really helped us to forward these messages to the larger community. And not only that, the graph like in the community, like what I felt in graph protocol is community has a major role. Unlike like other protocols also have like importance of community, but in graph mostly like what is expected that the community members come forward and take participate in the governance process, or be there in the technical advisory board. So community plays a really important role. And like the Graph India is for the whole graph network, like not just for the advocates or not just for the foundation. It is for everyone within the network or the supported chains, be it Mesari, Agent Nodes, or Polygon, Celo, Arbitrum. Like this is for everyone who's associated in any form uh, with the graph protocol. So like how we are like achieving it, like of course it's not a one man show. So like you all probably know Yash Jagtap and Megabyte. Like these two are dev success engineer, and we have one more new member named Archit Mehta. He's also there in this Discord call. Like he's taking care of the designs and marketing, and like a complete funnel, so that we can send our message to the larger community. So we all are experimenting with new things, working together with every single community within the network, uh, be it Agent Nodes or the Builders DAO, Graph Advocates DAO also, and the Graph Foundation also. So like these are the thank you so much. Like these were the updates from Graph India, and like we really believe in collaboration with every single community or every single entity within this network. Thank you so much for like allowing me to present about the Graph India here.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the presentation. And of course, whenever you guys want to come on, feel free to hop on and share all of this cool stuff. So hope to see you again on the next edition. Before we conclude today's community talk, I want to remind everyone about the upcoming Indexer office hours that will be starting at 6 p.m. UTC. And also, don't forget to check the monthly core developer updates on the forum that were shared with you earlier. I would like to thank all of the speakers and all of the graph advocates that helped with preparing of this episode of Community Talk. We'll now open up the floor for Q&A. And if there is no further questions, I would like to wish you a great day, and I hope to see you again next month.